But welcome to the Artist Exchange podcast, the new Artist Exchange podcast. We've been trying to do the show more often, but life has been
I'm not sure if you're saying anything to me, but the connection is very bad right now.
My
Uh-oh. It's live. I think I'm in here by myself. Oh my God. Um. Uh-oh. Wow. Okay. Um. I think he kind of either I got cut out or he cut out. But I'm gonna just wait for him to come back. Hello.
we are going on.
Okay, I can hear you now. It was
Okay.
it was it was tripping really bad. And
I
then it
had
just kind of left.
I think it just cut me out real quick, but we'll
Mhm.
edit the first half. But without further ado, I want to introduce our guest today. So introduce yourself, young man.
Hi everybody. I'm sorry I'm trying to get this phone to stay up and it won't stay up.
It's
Amen.
just that type
Okay.
of day for I think everybody right now.
I swear I'm sick. It's just it's a whole bunch going on. But how y'all doing? My name is Marcellin. I am a singer, songwriter, and vocal producer based out of born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland, but I'm
Okay.
based out of the DMV area now and Baltimore. Um, I specialize in R&B, but I don't limit myself. I would love to explore as much as I can. Um, I've been singing for about 16 years, but I have been an artist for about two, almost three. And yes, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Anytime I'm in a space right now of growing, and having you reach out to me was really a great space because I'm in a space of growing and maturing and just figuring out, you know, my tomorrow.
Hmm.
Of being an artist can sometimes be that whirlwind of just time and journey and experiences. And sometimes we have to take the time to reflect. And this year has definitely been a moment for me to reflect. And then when you message me, you spoke about a lot of new things going on and hearing
Yeah.
that you're now a junior in college and just seeing the growth and being a part of growth is a magical thing for me. So I was glad to have you on tonight and to come out of hiding for a while because Artist Exchange has been coming back like every 2 months with a
Hmm.
new interview. Just taking some time. This is a different space that we're in, trying to improve on on the model that I've created over the last 10 years, being on another platform, and now developing my own. Of course, I knew what the work would be, but sometimes you got to be courageous enough to just jump out there and do the work. And
Right.
sometimes we are too afraid to do that. But having
Mm.
you on tonight, we're going to definitely talk about what's new, some music that you got coming out, or where you are in your artistry. But I wanted to start with our topic for the day. How do I maintain my passion? How do I grow my passion? How do I balance my passion? Um, so I'm gonna start off by asking you, what is your passion?
My passion is My passion is music, and not just, I wouldn't say just singing, but I love music all around.
Okay.
I'm a I'm a I'm a musician as well as an artist as well as a singer.
Hmm.
So I love, if I am not singing, I'm always loving to put something together. I'm always loving to put pieces of instruments together and making something brand new, or I'm loving to co-produce my own projects, or co-produce somebody else's projects, or I love
Hmm.
vocally arranging and putting these different intervals of notes together and putting them and singing them and then making something beautiful. I just love. Oh,
It's you. Keep going. I just put
oh,
you there by
okay,
yourself.
okay. I thought you had I thought it had like cut out again. um
Uh-uh.
so I love that, and that's where my passion for music comes from. um Also, I think my passion is definitely fueled by the amount of time I've put into my
Right.
craft. Um, Even if I think about, I mean, because we all have those days where it's like, I don't want to do this. This is not getting me anywhere. And you feel discouraged, but it's
Hmm.
the years of work that I've put into it, and the time that invested in this that
Yeah.
keeps me going, and that's where the passion comes from.
So how have you been maintaining that passion?
How have I been maintaining that passion? Well, I'm not gonna lie. It's definitely hard maintaining a passion, especially maintaining this passion, especially in an industry like this, because I get discouraged a lot, and I try to keep my head up. I try to keep my head
Hmm.
up. I definitely remind myself that I'm good enough, if that makes sense. I
Okay.
remind myself that I'm good enough. I look to the greats a lot, and that gives me inspiration.
Some self validation.
Some self validation.
Hmm.
Look into the greats. Look into the greats. Like, it gives me that drive, that fuel. Like, I wanna work as hard as you can work, and it boosts me back up, and that's how I maintain the passion.
Hmm.
That brings the passion back. If you get what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right. It I caution not doing that, but making sure there's a healthy balance of admiration for people, because sometimes when we call someone the great, we take away humanity and their
Right.
humanness. So when they disappoint us, we then, because we poured so much love, we begin
Hmm.
to doubt ourselves.
Right.
Like, if they can break, then I can break, which is very true. And that
Hmm.
should be definitely a part of the awareness. But finding self validation and making sure, that's why it's so important for parents to validate their children before the
Right.
world gets a hold of them and begin to validate them with ill intentions. You
Exactly. That
know,
makes. Hmm.
so it really, so maintaining that passion, I love having mentors, but balance that greats with people you can touch. You can
Hmm.
call up at 9 o'clock at night. You can cry on their shoulder. You can, you know, I just had two mentors. One who has been my mentor, and one is definitely going to be my mentor. Um, Having them take me out to breakfast and just give me some truth,
Hmm.
about the struggle that I found myself currently in. And sometimes we find ourselves in spaces where we need that. But maintaining that passion is very important, and figuring out what is your roadmap to maintaining your passion, I think is very, very important. So the
Definitely
third part
very
of that, so
important.
we talked about, what the passion is, figuring
Hmm.
out the passion, but maintaining it, but also how are you now growing that passion?
That's a great question. That's a hard question too. And mm, I'm gonna try to answer it as best as I can. Um, how am I growing that passion?
Hmm.
If you asked me this maybe like 3 months ago, I would have a answer like smack dead right on, like, and it'd be a straight, clean answer. But now
Hmm.
I somewhat kind of feel like I'm at a standstill with how I'm growing as an artist.
Okay.
So it's hard to answer that because, and I know on the back end, I'm sure I'm growing every day. I learn more and more, especially about my craft and how it affects the world and or it vice versa. But
Hmm.
recently, I'll say it has been mm, maybe because I'm somewhat coming off of, when you promote or give a project or give your all for a while, and it's the exponential growth is there, but it has to start plateauing, and it plateaued and it's kind of going down now.
Hmm.
So I might be blindsided by the fact that it is cooling down and I'm not able to see how I'm growing, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, I remember because I think this is our second or third interview.
Hmm.
Um, One of the things that, like the last question that I ask after every interview, um, it is a thought prompt to help you realize where you are in the moment. And growth can sometimes feel like I am moving at 100 miles per hour forward. It can sometimes mean I'm moving forward at a snail's pace. It can sometimes mean I'm not moving, going anywhere. Sometimes it can feel like I'm moving backwards. Like
Hmm.
progress sometimes can definitely be in different directions because you are constantly learning lessons, you're constantly growing, you're constantly, you know, um, figuring out who you are, um, and adding on to who you are. And at your age, you have a lot more of self evaluation to do. So it's
Right.
going to be constantly at every phase of your life. You're a junior now in college. Wait till you become a senior. It's going to feel like everything that you wanted is in front of you, but it's not always so easily attainable. Like it's
Right.
dangling in front of you. And there's going to be
Hmm.
so many opportunities that come your way with your internships and, growing and figuring out if somebody gives you a deal over here. But figuring that out for yourself, I think, is um, part of the process. But realize this is just the journey is the journey.
Right.
Life is not a destination, even though
Mm.
we all end up at the same space. It's a journey. It's more about the journey. So it's going to be a constant, revelation, a constant, change and evolve, ebb and flow.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yes, and I'm learning that day by day.
Hmm.
And I'm not. If you would have asked me maybe like 2 years ago, I would have, I guess, blamed myself for. I would have blamed myself for not growing at the rate that I think I should be growing. But ultimately, it doesn't work like that. So now
Mm-mm.
I'm not as kind of aggressive with myself
Right,
for
right.
not for not growing at the pace that I think I should be because um that's not
Well,
how it
there
works.
was a time that you thought you could fly too, right? You thought you were Superman at one point. You thought, you could become a Marvel character. And
Uh-uh.
dreams are dreams. You can do whatever you want to do, but you realize, hey, maybe I shouldn't jump off that building. I'm not Spider Man. You know,
Right.
sometimes dreams don't get destroyed, but you realize, okay, reality is I only got a couple dollars in my pocket. So maybe I can't go on that trip I want to go to or buy that thing that I really want, but I could save up for it. I could prepare myself for it. I can do the work that will get me what I want in life, and not just things, but goals, dreams. Dreams are not always, they don't always get fulfilled as we dreamt them.
Right.
Because can you remember every bit and part of your dream that you had last night? Sometimes parts of it is missing. Well, that's reality. The
Mm-hmm.
dream sometimes comes to us needing to be assembled, missing
Right.
parts, you know, missing big parts of it, and it's life is about filling in those holes and those gaps. And then sometimes you get lucky and your dream falls in your lap as it's supposed to be.
I'm waiting for that. Oh wow. Sorry, my light definitely just turned off. I have like a nice little ring light on my TV. We're back. Okay. Yeah, I envy people that have it fall in their lap because I would love to be God's favorite, but it didn't work like that with me. So,
But
but
it, but even though, so it's, and sometimes it just appears to be that way, but you don't
mhm,
know what that person had to sacrifice for that dream
right,
to look so perfect to others. You don't know what
exactly.
duct tape may be holding that dream together for them.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Hmm.
That's a good, really, really good way to put it. Excuse me. Yes, that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons I stopped looking at other people's lane. I
Hmm.
remember years ago seeing this image on Facebook, and it was two people swimming towards, like, I guess they were in a competition, and the one guy was looking at the other guy win, and it, like, that was the caption on it: "Stay in your lane, stay focused on your lane."
Hmm.
But sometimes the grass looks greener over there. Sometimes,
Right.
it just looks a little bit sweeter over there. But I'm
Exactly.
not supposed to have what you're supposed to have. I'm supposed to have what I'm supposed to have.
Hmm.
And sometimes we got to focus on that. And it's easy to get in your mind. It's easy to, start dreaming other people's dreams. That's the hard part. How has music changed for you since we last talked?
So we last talked. It was. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember. I probably should have kept this in my head for the next time. So
Hmm.
I'm not just sitting here lacking. I'm gonna give it a year. I'm gonna say a year. So August of 20. Oh, it's not August. It is October.
It's
October of
October.
2020. Jesus
Hmm.
Christ. Um, October of 2022. I
Hmm.
was on a music hiatus. Actually, I haven't released anything since June. Well, I wouldn't call it a hiatus, but I haven't released anything since June. So since then, I released a single called "Open Up" in February. I think it was February 3rd of
Hmm.
this year, and it did okay. I re-recorded that 4 times, but I'm a slight. No, I wouldn't say slight. I'm definitely a perfectionist, but in good and bad ways. But
Hmm.
I re-recorded it 4 times, spent a lot of money on it, but I finally released it, and I kind of built that up to May 5th, when I released my project called Done in the Dark, and it's
Okay.
a 7-track project, including Open Up. Um, and I promoted it. I made a music video for it. I made a music video for one of the songs called "Love Is a Gun,"
Okay.
and only because one, it was my favorite, and two, I thought it was going to do the best. Um, so, and I, looking back on it, I can't predict what people are going to consume the most, but I made a, I would say I made a pretty good judgment, but I was wrong. So I don't think it was good judgment, but um, I ended up making a video for it, and people started picking up this song I have called "See Me in That Way," and it's a
Hmm.
neo soul song, and it's actually one of the first songs I've written that is kind of inspired by my real life
Hmm.
experiences. The way I usually write music is from other people's experiences, and I speak for people, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the song. It was like it was a situation that happened to me one time, and I was really I forgot what song I was listening to, but I'm like I could put this into something. So I went in my
Mm-hmm.
notes, and I'm sitting here just typing the situation away, typing away, typing away, typing away. It took me like 30 minutes, and I just had a whole 8 paragraphs of
Mm-hmm.
just straight words that I was thinking, and I took that along with my best friend, and because she writes with me as well. Um, my best friend and another writer, and we formed it into a beautiful song. It's a and I wanted to try something new. It's a neo soul song. I really don't like neo soul like that. Let me not say that. I am not the that is not my number one choice. Um, but I tried it and it worked, and people liked it a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
I people ended up receiving that without any type of promotion at all over the video and the song that I was promoting as soon as I
Mm-hmm.
dropped the project. So I ran with that, and now that's my most popular song now. When we first spoke, it was Square One, my song Square One, which is also on the project, but now it is See Me in That Way. And it
Mm-hmm.
has pushed me it's pushed me. I gained maybe about 600 followers off of the song. I
Okay.
promoted
Wow.
it on TikTok. Yeah, thank you. I promoted it on TikTok, and that did very well too. And it's in a rotation in a lot of people's playlists and everything. So that's my number one song now. So that is the blessing I guess I got from releasing that project. And now my it was May 5th I released it. It's now October 11th, I think. So things are cooling down a little bit, just a little bit. But um, I guess that means it's time for me to make something new. Wow, my phone says it's on I charged my phone and it's gonna say it's on 20%. That is great. Um,
It's
that
that,
is so great.
but I'm telling you, it's something. Woo, it's something in the atmosphere right now, and I'm not even saying it's a negative thing, but it's definitely a it's
Uh,
something going around, and I
uh,
think it's happening to creatives that work hard to keep it together and
oh yeah.
stay as focused. But
Mm-hmm.
it's something that I believe a lot of us are missing in terms of being in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
because you can be as organized as you want and be all over the place still, because you're not focused on you one or where you want to go. We just trying to
Right.
meet deadlines and try to figure things out, and blessings are gonna come. It's for you. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to take, you know, a fall back to just get things in order. But I just feel like it's something in the air, and I'm hearing it from people who typically have it together. And by have it together, I mean can be focused, have a routine, or it just feels like when we try something, it pulls us back.
I don't know.
And
Mercury's in retrograde or something. I don't know. But you know
I
what? The show must
just
go on. I have my charger right here.
But I can go ahead. Go ahead. So beyond having a conversation with this
Mm-hmm.
gentleman today, I'm definitely in a space where I've been wanting to say things. I've been wanting to express myself, and I'm getting opportunities to do that. I'm planning an event this weekend. In a couple more weeks, I'll be directing a play for a festival at Center Stage. I have
Oh,
another event, so
congratulations.
I'm getting the opportunities to branch out and to do things and walk in my calling. But it
Mm-hmm.
feels like all the things that I used to do to be able to create a safety net in my life, those things are causing me friction
Mm-hmm.
and forcing me to live in what I say I want. And no
Mm-hmm.
matter how difficult things become, like this week is very stressful. Meeting a deadline by Friday and having the event on Saturday, like it's taking me into a different space. But it's interesting. You just had that reaction to your phone, but it I feel like people, specifically people who are great at being focused linearly, like having a that line, and they stay on course, are having the worst struggle right now.
Mm-hmm.
And people
Yes.
who just live to be living, it feels so easy for them. And it's not that we're going through anything that we can't get out of, but I think it's something about us being in a moment and enjoying ourselves that we're being forced to do, even in
Right.
when there's a lot of stuff going on. Are you
Right.
experiencing like opportunities are happening, but the people who are bringing them to you are kind of dragging their feet?
Oh my God. Yes.
See, I,
Yes.
I told you that's what's in the air right now.
Yes. Like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you're like, if you would just, but it's really it's them, but it's really you not really being in a moment and trusting and believing.
Hmm.
Like the opportunities are coming because you've done the work, but we can't. It's hard for us to be in a moment. It's
Hmm.
really hard. It's really hard. I went to a concert in Bethesda over the weekend. Great singer I got to hear. What's his name? October London. Like
Hmm.
great singer. That's the guy that's supposed to sound like Marvin Gaye. And me and my cousin went, and we basically outside of us getting something to eat and and going to see that concert in Bethesda, we just stayed in the hotel room watching the worst channel in the world, Tubi, and just in the bed. And it was crazy because we would say things to each other or remarks of what was going on in the TV, but it was it was just our solitude. I was in my bed, she was in her bed, and we were just relaxed. I've never felt more relaxed driving back to Baltimore from a trip in my life. But I feel like it's just something that. Do you feel that, or
Well,
what does it feel like
lately,
to you?
lately, my allergies been, that's all I feel. I'm congested. That's what I feel. I'm
Right.
all types of sick, but that's what's um no, on a serious note, I'm sorry. Um um I've been feeling I've been feeling
Tell the truth, shame the devil.
I'm trying. um you know what? I have felt like that. And in
Mm,
reaction, and I will shame myself for it, but I know I shouldn't, but I've kind of stepped back
right.
a little bit. And not really stepped back per se, but I haven't gone as hit the pavement running as I usually do. Maybe for the past
It's
3 weeks.
something that it feel like it's something pulling you, not
Right.
backwards, but just holding you in space, like in that.
Exactly. And I feel a
Hmm.
little stuck a little bit too.
Hmm.
And partially because these September was actually a terrible month for me. My grandmother passed away. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, my grandmother passed away. I had a lot of issues within my personal life when it came to friends and everything.
Hmm.
Um, School was killing me, and not even just the education, but the I guess if you went to a HBCU or you know about HBCU's financial aid issues, if you know, you know, and
It's
and
sad. Why is that
it's
still
sad.
happening?
It's
I
sad,
experienced that. Why? I don't understand.
and because my university, my illustrious HBCU, definitely just charged me $5,800 by mistake. Um, and I got that resolved maybe about a couple of days
But the
ago.
stress
But
of like being
the
in the
stress,
middle of a semester and getting a
yes,
bill is not fun.
yes. And my school's homecoming was just a couple of days ago, on
Hmm.
Saturday actually, and I thought I was gonna have a good time and end up getting shot up. So
So that happened at your school. See, this is why I don't watch the news.
it
So
was
I'll be
Morgan, and it was
oblivious.
Morgan and Bowie State. Yep.
See, I don't. Go keep going, keep going, keep going. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on in life.
Yeah, it was a scene. It was a scene, and
Hmm.
that was
Yeah.
a day on everything too. So I'm kind of because I did get injured a little bit. I cut myself pretty bad, and
Wow.
yeah, trying to, I guess, run against the people traffic running away, but all is well. I try to keep high hopes. Um and I
Hmm.
feel like I'm moving into a new chapter. Um and I feel like I always know I'm moving into a new chapter when I'm okay with doing things by myself. Now, what I mean by
Mm.
that is if maybe like during the summer, if I wanted to go out to the park or go somewhere or go somewhere, I'd be like
Hmm.
hit my best friend or hit up this, or I tell my best friend, why are we not hanging out? We need to be hanging out this that. But in light of what's been happening in September, I've been okay with like I'll go to Chick-fil-A and just sit in the parking lot and eat by myself, or
Hmm.
I will um I will I don't know if I can go to the movies by myself. That's a bit much, but
It's not.
um
I'm as somebody who has gone on several dates by myself.
mhm.
Um, it's different. The restaurant one is a little tricky, but you eat. I mean, you've eaten by yourself at the kitchen table before. What's the difference?
You're right, and I'm definitely going to see the Renaissance, a film by Beyonce, December 1st by myself. I already bought my tickets the day of. Can't
Dress
wait.
up. I'm telling you, dress up. Treat yourself to some dinner and let
Right,
that be your make it a package.
right,
I think it's a phase that people go through where we are so afraid to be alone, so we try to do everything with everybody.
right,
And the sometimes the fallback from that is the things that we attempt to do fall apart
right.
because the people who we brought in on this were not supposed to be in on it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we weren't meant to be in on it.
Right.
And we're creating these opportunities to be with people versus
Mm-hmm.
respecting that time alone, respecting learning who you are. I know that after a certain hour or a certain amount of time of doing something, I'm annoying because I've spent that time by myself and realized, no,
Right.
like I don't want to do that, or this
Mm-hmm.
isn't what I like to do, or I don't like eating this, or I don't like watching this type of TV. But it's time that we have to learn how to spend with self that
Right.
really opens ourselves up to learning who we are.
Mm-hmm. And definitely, and I've been on that journey recently, and I'm not sure where this is gonna go, but I'm living in the
Hmm.
moment, so it's gonna take me where it's going to take me.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully, well, not hopefully, I definitely been working on some new music as well. My studio actually got water damage a while back,
Oh
so I,
wow.
I have been looking for a new studio, but that that that's no excuse. Um, I've been working on some new music. Yes, I'll
Mm.
say. Um, I have things lined up. I'll say. Yeah.
Um. What What is the roadblock right now for you?
The roadblock
Hmm.
is the roadblock in terms of like what?
Like, can you fit? Like, I'm sure you feel sometimes like
Hmm.
you hit a wall, or can you see what that roadblock is, or can you see what distractions may
Actually,
look like?
yes, I can tell you exactly what it is. The roadblock for me right now, which is not necessarily like a whole wall, maybe like half a wall. I can still see over it. It's just I gotta jump
Okay.
over it. But is the lack of motivation I have. And I don't say that in a lazy context, but I say that in a I get discouraged a lot sometimes because
Are those things within your control that you get
no.
discouraged about?
So that's why I leave it. I leave it. But I mean,
Hmm.
I'm human and I can't help but feel like sometimes I feel as if I am not so much wasting my time, but getting no, and I won't say no return on investment, like I'm doing this for money or anything, but no return as in nothing given back to me, like
Mm.
nothing. Putting this in, and nothing is being reciprocated back into me, and it's draining sometimes, and
Is that from yourself or is that from people around you?
so the reason why that is because I feel like I'm like kind of lost in the sauce a little bit. Like I'm just one person in a sea of millions of people that are doing the same thing as me. And it feels like I'm just getting lost with all these other people that are making TikToks about their music and just making music. Like everybody can make music now. If this was like maybe '05, '06, I might be a little further along in my career now because it was more exclusive. But now I feel like since everybody can make music, it's oversaturated, and it's
Mm.
oversaturated. There's no time put into artists. There's no artist development put into artists. People don't put, pour
Yeah.
into artists, and they don't pour skills into artists. You have to come as a star now, and and now there's a time where independent artistry is more popping more than ever. It's very popular. I'm independent. I'm not signed to a label. I'm not a slave. I want to own my masters, and that's great in its own regard. But now everybody is an independent artist, and with that happening, it feels like what is separating me from the next singer. I mean, I might be able to sing very well. I might be a great vocalist, but there's a lot of great vocalists at this
So
point,
I'm gonna
and
ask you that question. What is separating you from everyone else?
I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that really.
But it's a
I don't
question that
know,
you need to go back to
and I
because I
think
think a
about it all
lot
the
of
time.
people. I agree with you, and part of my work here is I am formulating a space of artist development and not just for artists but entrepreneurs, individuals, not in
Hmm.
like a life coach, y'all save my life type of way. I think that's going to
Hmm.
definitely have to be a part of it, but
Uh,
it's too many of us, and I'm speaking over myself right now, that are looking in other people's lane. I don't ca- I just had a example. I went to a workshop and the lady said she found over 3 million recipes for macaroni and cheese.
mm-hmm.
3 million different recipes for macaroni and cheese. As basic of a meal as that is, she found over 3 million versions of it. And I think her point in saying that was if 3 million people can discover or contribute their recipe for macaroni and cheese, why don't you feel like being one in millions as a vocalist, a songwriter, producer? Why can't you find your space? Why
Uh,
can't we find our space in what we're doing? And she's a it was a workshop for writers,
mhm.
and because people sit on ideas, my phone. People sit on ideas. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
People sit on ideas constantly because they
Right.
feel like, well, I've already seen this, or but we haven't seen you do it. And I know
Right.
we've heard that as a cliche. We've all heard it before. I haven't seen but it's a real solid explanation. I have not seen your perspective on this thing. And it's very important that we just create. I've been working with a couple people who that this is their first time vending or first time creating something. And I always tell my students, create for the sake of creating, art for the sake of arting, because people are going to buy what they want to buy. If we focus our attention so much on what is necessary and needed in the world, we
Mm-hmm.
won't create, or we'll be creating the same. Look at all the music. That's why every season or every generation we get a wave of the same type of sound. I
Mm-hmm.
grew up where there was distinctive voices in our young artists. Tony Braxton had a different voice from Whitney Houston, from Mariah Carey, from Monica, they all had different voices, and they were being set up. Now, we don't often remember them, but there were people who were created to sound like them, but we don't know them
Mm-hmm.
because that individual that created that uniqueness about themselves and pushed that rose to the top.
Right.
There were tons of people who sounded like Aretha, who sounded like Whitney, who probably could sing better than them, but
Mm-hmm.
they created, or some of them were created, but their uniqueness rose to the top. There can
Right.
never be another Beyonce. I don't care how hard these girls try to dance, it's not gonna happen. It's just not. That's a unique lane that young lady has created. It'll never be another Michael or Whitney, Prince. They created, and why should we? We can be inspired by their stuff or who they were, but you should be working on what makes you unique. And that took me a long time, and just really, the ink is still drying on it. What makes
Mm-hmm.
me me? I never really compared myself to anybody else, but I found myself not being willing to try the stuff that
Right.
I wanted to do. And I felt more comfortable working on other people's dreams because I didn't feel like
Mm-hmm.
I had a voice strong enough to really be heard. I
Right.
stayed on a station for 10 years because I felt like I ain't gonna be able to do this by myself. And it is tough. It's hard. In moments I feel like I can't do it, but I'm doing it. So
You are.
I went back to look up the last time you were on here, or not the last time, but one time that you were on here, and it I was in a space of not liking where I was.
Mm-hmm.
I hated doing my show at that time, and not particularly the station or anything, but I hated it because it wasn't me. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I wasn't talking the way I wanted to talk, and all
Right.
that had to be changed by me. Nobody could come in my life and switch stuff around and make it there. Um,
Right.
as a young artist that feels that way, that feels overwhelmed by the atmosphere that you're in, the number of people who now want to be singers, want to be songwriters, want to be, artists, and they haven't worked as hard as you're working.
Mm.
How do you want to break from that or break out from that?
I would love to break from that. And I'm day in and day out, I'm trying to find what makes me more unique, and it's hard. And I'm having a hard time trying to find what makes me unique.
Hmm.
And the more time that goes on, the more I am realizing that I should maybe stop trying to find what makes me unique and just be me, and
It's
that makes
being.
me unique, right. And I have a hard time breaking from, breaking through. Could you say your question again so I can answer it right?
It, but
Mhm.
how do you want to break away from the thought of comparing yourself to other people or grouping yourself to other people? Like, what's your strategy, or how do you think you can break away from that?
Break
Just
away
the
from
thought of comparing yourself,
the thought of
the
comparing
thought of
myself. I don't.
comparing yourself.
I would say I break away from that by. That's a good question too. You came with the hard questions. You came with the hard
Well, you're
questions.
you're junior now. You can't get the freshman questions anymore.
um, I I remind myself. that
Mhm.
you are you, and she is she, or he is he, or they are they, and they all are not the same person. Y'all are two different people, and
Mhm.
every little decision that everybody makes their life different. And what I mean by that is like, um, even as small as if you decide to cross the street or you decide to wait for the car to go.
Mhm.
If you decide to cross the street, you can meet somebody on the other side of the street that might change your life. If you don't decide to cross the street, then you
Mhm.
might not meet that person. It's just little decisions like that that change the course of your whole life. And
Right.
imagine trying to sync those little decisions with somebody else's. It's impossible. So
Is it
you're
though?
making, well, no. I mean, yeah, I would say
Mhm.
yes, it's impossible because
Okay.
I can't sync I say that to say like those little decisions affect everything that happens in your life. And
Mhm.
these little decisions that you make are going to be wildly different from the little decisions that this person makes. So y'all can never be on the same page. Like exactly, because y'all are constantly moving in different directions.
Mhm.
So I remind myself of that, and then that's how I stop comparing myself to people.
I, I actually like talking to you because for a long time I did not speak on stuff like this. I didn't have a space. There wasn't podcast when I was your age. You had to
Right.
do something great to get on 92Q or something like that to talk
Yeah.
like this for a couple seconds.
Right.
So having spaces like this to have conversations is very important to me because I think sometimes the aha moment comes. That's why I find the time to watch my show and I cringe because I don't like watching all the mistakes, but I still
Mm,
watch them because you have to figure out how to um be, just
mm,
be. And um the types of things that you're talking about, I've had those thoughts in my mind before,
right.
and I would say to myself like, why am um I comparing myself to people who can't compare to me?
Mm,
And not even in an arrogant way, but why am I having this conversation with myself about somebody else? Or, why am I not able to just jump out there? And sometimes we're just afraid. If fear will, people want to talk to me right now. But figuring out how to, deal with the pressures and the stress of growing and maturing. Um, and you probably hear it a lot right now, oh, you got time, don't be so hard on yourself. But it's those things are true. Like
mm,
it's okay to be focused and driven and prepared and organized and ready, but it's also okay to take a breather and
mm,
relax and not be so hard on yourself. We have so many people out there that will criticize us. We don't need to be worse than they are with it.
mm,
We'll never fit up to someone's standard. We'll never be able to be the perfect thing for anybody. And if anybody puts you in that position, I would be very leery, not to second guess yourself, but what
mm,
is their intention in doing this? What do they get from this? You know, um, and it's really a space where you have to be honest with yourself and really figure out how to express the things that are within you
mm,
in a way where you still have levels of privacy. But like you said, one of your biggest songs now happened because you turned the tables on yourself, or you turned
right. Mm,
that expectation that you like to do onto
mm,
yourself.
right.
Now, what happens when you do that again? How do you did you think about, okay, now I gotta just, are you ready to turn the tables onto yourself?
Um, Um, I could do that in my music, yes, because I'm a very private person in every other aspect of my life, and I feel like the one way that I should be. Um,
Something about me says you're not going to do it again, or it's going to be a long
uh,
time before you do it again.
everybody might, but and you know why? Not even because I'm just a private person, but honestly, because I have a lot of experiences. I have a lot of negative experiences. Not that were really brought on by me, but life just happens. But
Have you healed
I,
from them?
yes, I have definitely. Yeah, I've definitely healed from them, but
Have you
I
let
don't
them
have.
go?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
I've let them go. Yeah, they're behind me. I will never forget, but I've confronted it. But I don't really have too many experiences that are songwritable, if that makes sense.
Well, not necessarily like this happened, but
Hmm.
you do have emotions. You have feelings
Hmm.
that may be a seed of an idea,
Right.
but not necessarily like you wrote that story where just the dialogue came.
Hmm.
But I think sometimes when we're in the space of creating, we are
Hmm.
self-editing so much. So
Self ed.
we push the things to the side that we don't want nobody to know about. Then we
Hmm.
start pushing away like, I wouldn't sound right talking about something like that. Or then over here we push stuff to the side that involves other people. So we end up with almost nothing sometimes because we've taken everything off the table that we are fearful of having a conversation about. But
Hmm.
even if it's just an idea or a thought, create artistry is sometimes, I remember watching an interview with Whitney and she was talking about a lot of her songs and she was saying a lot of them don't pertain to her. He said, so it was amazing that we listened to a lot of those songs and we could feel the emotion in it because a part of that story had to be her in some way. Even if
Right.
the plot or the foundation wasn't her, the emotion may have been. We all know what a broken heart feels like, whether we didn't get that gift we wanted or that person we wanted or that grade, we know what it feels like to be brokenhearted. So to write a love story about being brokenhearted, as an actor, I've learned I may not have experience with this, but I know an emotion that can get me to be able to connect with that thing or that action that needs to happen. So
Right.
that's why I like to listen to, and maybe what should happen, and not to say that you don't do this, that you
Hmm.
go through a period where you're just listening to songwriters and songs, just listening, don't have any genre or intention behind, but just listening and hearing words. I love songs with words,
Hmm.
not just a bunch of this runs, melodic runs, but just really words where you got to listen to it. Or I think that's why a lot of people like to remake music because that song just sounded like the story of it had such an appeal.
Right.
How are you sharpening your storytelling abilities?
Well, I've definitely been sharpening my storytelling abilities and songwriting abilities in general by, I would say, just listening. Listening to other songwriters helped me definitely. I
Hmm.
listen to a lot of not just songwriters that write for other people, but songwriters that write for themselves. Like my favorite writer is The Dream. I think he is one of the
Hmm.
best writers I've ever heard before. The Dream, James Fauntleroy. I like him as he's a writer. He's a good writer. Um, there's a writer name. Her name is Nisha. I love the way she writes. And countless other writers, Jazzy, Nova Wave.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I love the way they write. So I will go through their discographies and I will listen and I pick up stuff. And I have this big note in my phone that I will if I hear something or I pluck something out, I'm like, I like that, and I'll type it down like do this, do this, do this, and I take from my inspirations, and then
Okay.
I I log it in my head, and
I challenge you to go back even further.
mhm,
And sometimes I know generationally, like we don't really connect with, but I've always listened to music that was older than I was.
mhm.
And it's just something about some of those songs. And some of my friends, like if I go into a little bar or lounge and they got like a what they call it, a jukebox or
A
something,
jukebox.
or now they're like digital jukeboxes.
Mhm.
I play songs that embarrass my friends basically. But it's not even the overall, it's just I'm listening to that person create a feeling. And
Mhm.
their songs just like one of my go-tos, if we ever go anywhere, you're gonna hear me play Tonight Is the Night by Betty Wright.
Mhm.
I don't know why I love that song so much. I don't know. My friends hate it because we can be anywhere. We've been in other countries, other states, and I'll play that and they mad. But
Mhm.
it's just something about the melody of that song, her talking, her voice, her
Mhm.
cadence that just I fell in love with. So I'm not saying that you haven't, but
Mhm.
I would challenge you to dig even deeper and find artists that are inspired by the artists that the artists that you like were inspired by, and figure out what their inspiration was, and follow that train back as far as you can, and you'll see like it'll shock you sometimes what uh what writers are inspired by, or what especially, and I think it's a special lane for the performers that are writers.
Mm.
Like I have a different respect for Tank now
Right.
because Tank started out in church as a
Right.
church musician and has created this R&B soul type of career. But
Mhm.
I can see him differently now than the surface artist I thought he was, because he
Right.
writes music, he understands music, he reads music.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? Or
Absolutely. Yeah. And I can definitely relate as well. Um,
hmm
I definitely take a lot of inspiration. Well, if we're just talking about writing, um, from a lot of kind of older jazz artists. I love Sarah
hmm
Vaughan. I love Ella Fitzgerald. There's a new artist, even though she sounds very mature. Her name is Samara Joy, but
okay,
she is like 23 or 24, but she sounds like she's straight from 1950. Um,
yeah,
or
yeah,
or a lot of just vocal jazz artists. I will sit there and I will like all night just sit there and just turn it on and listen and just listen to what they're saying, and
yeah,
and most of my ears go into the chords and everything because I'm a music person at the end of the day, and my ear is just musicianship all the way. But I'm also listening to how they're writing, or I really listen to how songs are structured, because I'm a
hmm
really big fan of a very catchy chorus. If you, in my opinion, can fit a catchy make a chorus catchy, and at the same
hmm
time not just have it just like, let me try to say this another way because I'm losing my words. If you can write a catchy chorus, not just for face value or just so people can listen to it, and it actually like sound meaningful, and then the
hmm
verses and everything flow with it, still it's a great song and the chorus is
yeah.
catchy, you won in my opinion.
It
And
doesn't
that's
turn
the
into a one-hit wonder type song where it's just the chorus
yes.
that you remember. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
and in that my opinion, you won. Like, I'm listening to that song forever, and those are kind of
yeah.
songs that I listen to. And those are the kind of songs that I like to take inspiration from and emulate.
A friend of mine is working on a play, not about them specifically, but about the music that they wrote, Ashford and Simpson. Um, and in my opinion, the songs that they wrote for themselves are not that good.
Oh wow.
But the songs that they wrote for other people are
Mhm.
just crazy.
Mhm.
Like they wrote "I'm Every Woman."
Mm-hmm.
They wrote "The Boss," which is one of my favorite songs, also by Diana Ross. Like they wrote songs that were like, if you realize that girth of music, it was songs that none of it made sense
Mm-hmm.
if you put it in their catalog of music.
Mm-hmm.
Like it, and some, like they started off writing for Motown, and
Mm-hmm.
then ended up, writing for rock stars and, you know, the big pop songstress. But it just seems so. One song does not, like, if you really, like, if you hear music,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you read music well, you can start picking up their style.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but every song is different, and it's
Right.
like it was a finely fitted dress for every artist that they wrote for. Like it just was a tailored outfit for that individual person. But I love music for that reason, because it just, I love a song that just, even if it's a remake, if that, like Whitney was great at making a song hers.
Right.
Like a lot of her music was remixed. So when you go back and hear the original person, you like, ooh, they don't ever need to sing that song. Like Dolly should never sing "I'll Always Love You."
Love
Like she
you.
should never sing that song ever again, because
And
it
another
just,
person that does that very well is Luther Vandross, or did that very well is Luther Vandross.
yeah. Oh, the two. He was definitely one that would steal your music,
Uh-huh.
right? And just
And
make
do
it
it better.
his. So are
Absolutely.
you? If you could create, like, your favorite singer, like if you could, like, create your, like, ultimate singer performer, like who would you borrow from? Like where would the voice come from? Where would the stage presence come
Okay,
from?
I got this. Because I did this a couple of days ago actually. Um, the voice will come from Mariah Carey. Absolutely, Mariah Carey's voice. I think
I'm
she
a,
is
I'm
the
a, okay.
what?
She's a better
What?
writer than singer to me. Sorry.
What? Man,
I mean, I
listen.
love Whitney Houston, so.
I think that Mariah mainstream, like globally, I think Mariah Carey is the best vocalist I've ever heard before. But I think that that is debatable with Whitney Houston, though. I will say that. Definitely debatable.
What? You said debatable?
I think Whitney Houston in her prime. No, I think Mariah Carey in her prime is so wild. Like you shouldn't even be able to do things with your voice like that. And even just coming from a technical standpoint, like of a vocalist, I feel like. But you know what though? I feel like depending on because Whitney and Mariah are so great. Depending on what area of singing you're talking about, either of them could take it. I feel like it could be a tie, but I don't know something about
I
Mariah
feel
carries me.
like Whitney should have. It's hard because I think if she would have had more freedom, if she would have began to write
Mm-hmm.
outside of, like, vocally producing herself, I think we would have seen a different career path. And
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like to say in somebody's prime, because, you know, things happen, if you take drugs, or, like, even for Whitney, even if she didn't do all those other things that was bad for her, if you
Mm-hmm.
listen to Dion and Sissy, voices age. Some people voices is age and they can't do what they used to do. Look at
Actually
Patti
had the
LaBelle.
opportunity.
Like,
I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
wait,
I actually did have the opportunity to perform for Dionne Warwick earlier this year. I just wanted to because you said her name.
okay,
Yeah.
how was that?
It was good. It was good. She was there. She loved it. She said she she was very grateful that we sang for her and because at Bowie State they renamed one of their theaters the Dionne Warwick Theater. So
Oh,
and
wow,
they
wow.
invited her to come and see us sing. So we all did our
Mm,
song and she loved it. Yeah, it was a nice event. Very nice event.
that's awesome. That's phenomenal. Like, that's one of those. voices that just the girth of their music speaks
Mm-hmm.
about, like, it tells its own story.
Right.
And it just is a magical. I started off by talking about Ashford and Simpson, but if you just listen to their music, like I say, is not the best. But the music that they wrote for other people,
Crazy.
like, phenomenal. And
Mm-hmm.
some of that music was written by Ashford,
Mm-hmm.
and not Valerie did the music, and he
Mm-hmm.
wrote a lot of the lyrics. But he wrote for women in a space of like, were you a woman in a past lifetime? Like he
Mm-hmm.
wrote, so like Babyface could write a song for women,
Yes.
and you'd be like, where did this come from? With
It seems like a
and
lot
I
of male
don't hate
songwriters
on
are like. Mm-hmm.
right. Now I don't hate on Mariah. Mariah started singing pop songs, and
Mm-hmm.
that was not that you ever want to you want to get somebody in a box, but when she would sing ballads or when she would sing like more soulful songs, then I'll give her voice. But she's not the voice.
No,
Sorry.
Whitney Houston is
So
the
you can't
voice.
even get it out. You can't see, you were fighting it. It couldn't even
Listen,
come out.
listen. Mariah, to me, I feel like there's a trio of singers that are the greatest singers global, like on a mainstream level of all time, and that's Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, and Celine Dion for me.
Oh, why? Oh, people say her name. I'm like, why?
Celine Dion, really?
Mm. I would put Tony Braxton over her any day.
Wow. Tony Braxton is amazing, but Celine Dion is outstanding. She, her.
She's a white woman. I'm sorry
Okay,
if that sounds
okay.
racist.
Listen, but it makes it, and I get it. It makes sense.
If Tony and her switch catalogs and Tony got some of the songs that she got,
Hmm.
could she sing Tony Braxton music? No.
But could Tony sing Celine's music though?
Down.
Okay, all right.
Tony, what I think what happened with Tony got caught in a style
Yes.
because her singing in the beginning was much different, and now she's singing for us in a style.
Yeah. Her.
Like
Who do you think I
everything
am?
can't be sultry, but she can really sing though.
She can.
She
Yes.
can really sing.
Amazing. I something about okay. If you want to take the white lady out, well, I'm gonna put in. I'm gonna put in Aretha Franklin. Her voice is crazy to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but she's like those artists that you named. They are in a category of their own. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard. That's why it's people who have the debate. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to really debate on it because they are their own individual person. Aretha Franklin sung a bunch of people's songs. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not even like whether they were writers or sung original music. It's just the feeling you got from them. And that's what I think is missing today. And we're getting to that. Like the young man who I saw this over the weekend, October London,
Mm-hmm.
crazy name, but
Mm-hmm.
I could tell if he focused on not trying to sound like Marvin Gaye,
Mm-hmm.
he would be so much better. And then his songwriting is a little it's catchy. Like it'll get you. I definitely was singing it. The song just got out of my head probably today. But
Mm-hmm.
just that I want them to bring artist development back because I think it damaged the polish of music and the
Absolutely, definitely.
professionalism of music.
I definitely so for the voice, I ain't gonna lie. I almost still had to pick Mariah Carey in her
All right.
I'm sorry. I listen. Her voice is it's just like just her I feel like she just checks off every single category for me. Like
Really?
yeah, she has the runs. She has the stamina, she has the agility, she has the writing, she has the harmony, she has the breath control. She has She has the range. She has
Okay.
um the musical ear. She has arranging. But you know what
Okay.
though? The voice I would say Mariah Carey, but the music making style, like the making of music though, I would definitely say Brandy. Brandy. No.
I'm not saying the two of them are overrated, but they both were created. Not to take
Okay.
anything from their personal
Hmm.
talent,
Hmm.
but I think people put a lot on the two of them, and they're great. They're phenomenal.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know better singers. I'm just saying.
And I'm not saying Brandy is sings like crazy, but Brandy sings very well. But not even just Brandy's vocal talent, but the way she. I think I'm really just in love with the way she not the way she sings, but the way she arranges her voice in music. I think
Okay.
that's really what I because I'm a harmony freak. Like I would say there's one song that I wrote, "Love Is a Gun." I wrote it by myself. That was the only song I wrote completely by myself for my project. Um, I I think I broke the studio because the computer crashed. I
Okay.
had wrote
Okay.
I had
Confidence.
oh yeah, confidence. No, really though. I had did in hindsight I probably didn't need to do this much, but I did four layers of each vocal, and I had a complete big harmony part of maybe about 20 different vocal parts, and not just the stacks within them. So 20 times 4, that's 80. So I did about 80 stacks just for one part. And
What?
I love stacking. It's just if I couldn't stack harmonies, I probably wouldn't want to make music anymore. I love stacking harmonies.
I
I
need to
do.
hear this.
I can definitely
That-
send it to you. It's out too.
Yeah, I need to hear
It
this.
took me about 2.5 hours to do because
Okay.
I pay attention to inflection. So if something's not sounding the same, then I'm gonna do it again. I mean, it's not supposed to sound the same. That's what makes it sound so thick. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's something off, then I want to go do it again. And if I don't, if and it could be because this happened after I completely because I went back in the studio just to layer harmonies, and after I was done, I heard the part where I'm like, oh wait a minute, that didn't match with the rest. So then we had to go through and isolate every single each harmony just to find out which one, and then it was that one. Then I went and recorded it again, and then we were done. But yeah, and I owe that a lot to Brandy because her arrangements are crazy, and her arrangements I get a lot of my arrangements style from her. She does a lot of things with different intervals. They're called like seconds and fourths and sixths. And those intervals I like to play off of in my music as well. And not just that, but another group of people that I heavily inspire my layers off of is the Clark sisters.
Okay.
Twinkie Clark did something serious when she was arranging those songs, and the
Mm-hmm.
way like she put those harmonies together, like
Right.
it's like I don't know. I to me I couldn't even think of how you would think to do something like that.
Well,
So,
she was heavily inspired by some R&B music, which
hmm,
people don't realize. Like she loves Stevie Wonder,
hmm,
and and some like surprisingly like Caribbean music, but that was
hmm,
Stevie Wonder influence also. But
right,
yeah, so she was definitely like interviews and doing research. Like that's 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 why I said like sometimes you have to go dig deeper and see who somebody else was inspired by because
right,
you'll see like that trail happening.
hmm,
You'll see where that journey has come to make that song that you love. Like how
right,
many different layers of people were inspiration for that, you know, based off of who followed who. But
hmm,
but I I've always loved music. I've
hmm.
always loved like I like singers, and I'm not
Singers, yeah,
critical of. a Brandy and a Mariah. But sometimes I feel like people get um they get attention for construction and
Mm-hmm.
not for natural ability. It's singers like Tamia
Mm-hmm.
and Shantae Moore,
Yes.
and I'm trying to think of other people that are really good, like are still out here singing,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't get that credit that they deserve because people have, fell in love with the construction of music versus music, like the
Could you
raw,
go into like like what you mean by construction?
like the techniques. Like we fall in love with the album voice versus like the live singing voice. And
Mm.
I think sometimes, yeah, I just think sometimes like that's why I love concerts because you really get to see what people sound like.
Right.
Like the young man I saw this weekend, I heard some stuff from him, but to hear him
Mm-hmm.
sing in person,
Right.
now he only had like a keyboardist accompanying him,
Mm-hmm.
which was a different sound than if you had the whole band. And that's what I meant by construction. Like sometimes all of this can disguise what the person really sounds like.
Right.
Like I'm
That
not
is
a
true.
big fan of Little Mo, and
Mm-hmm.
people love Little Mo, and
Mm-hmm.
I just think she a screamer. But on the other side, I like Fantasia, and most people think she's a screamer.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
just, but
Mm-hmm.
I like to hear people sing a song instead, and I think the for me it's not even their singing voice. It's some of their choices in music because sometimes they'll choose stuff that is for popularity versus like some of the music that I like is stuff that's buried like on a B side of something or the
Mm-hmm.
end of the playlist or something like that. It's not the single or the stuff
Right.
that went viral or popular stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah,
like
definitely.
I like singers like that.
Right. I like singers, definitely, definitely. I would say in terms of you said vocals,
Hmm.
um,
So you said
but
Mariah Carey,
Mariah for the vocals, I gotta stick
Ow,
to it.
Brandy.
Yeah. Stage presence has to be between Beyonce and Michael Jackson. It doesn't get better than both of them, in my opinion, on a global scale.
This person is not gonna live long doing all that.
Okay, you're right. They're going. It's going to drown. Okay, you know what?
They're gonna die like after that first concert. All that energy.
um, I just I am I am a I mean this in the most serious sense that I'm the truest Beyonce fan. Like it's not
Hmm.
even funny. I I just love Beyonce so bad, and
You in the
it's
beehive?
I'm in the beehive. I went to go see her August 5th. I had the time of my life. I had the time
Oh,
of my
so you
life.
did, you did, you got to go see it at the Renaissance concert.
Yep, I went to go see her in
Okay.
DC on August 5th. It was amazing. I already knew the whole show like the back of my hand because I'm in the beehive. But still, I act
Are
like I
you are
it's
you mad that you spent all that money and then she's putting it in a movie theater?
no, not at
Okay.
all.
So
I
you're a
the
true fan.
I'm a true fan. I know, and I just not even like this. Not even new. I remember I used to be back in like 2006, 2007 when B Day came out. That's still my favorite album of all time. I remember na- 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 I mean that's what I used to sing back then, but now it's deja vu. But that used to be my song. I used to be in there jamming. What? I love B. Yeah.
She's another singer. I think when she's in her intimate voice, it
Mm-hmm.
sounds so much better than her pop voice or that
Mm-hmm.
commercial voice.
I definitely like some of her intimate stuff, like even though it kind of went commercial, but "Dance for You," I
Hmm.
love that song. There's a song she has called "Rocket." Um, That's
Mm-hmm.
a great song. I like her R&B stuff a lot. Because you get to
Right.
hear her artistry come out and go like back to her roots, and it reminds me of when she was um, like it reminds me of her stuff when she was in Destiny's Child. Especially that
Mm-hmm.
her album Destiny's Fulfilled that came out in
Okay.
'04. That is a great R&B album. That is a great album. Down to the
Are
production and
you
everything.
fans of Michelle and
Definitely,
Kelly? Okay.
absolutely. Um,
But they're not here. They're like right here. And
in
like,
terms of my love,
mm-hmm.
no, Beyonce's at the very top. Like it doesn't get higher than Beyonce for me. Yeah. Um, yeah.
What would
I
we be surprised to hear you listening to?
hmm. Um, Amy Winehouse. I'm a big fan of Amy Winehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm a big fan of Amy Winehouse. I'm a big fan of Ghostface Killer. I like Ghostface Killer. I like a lot of lyricism and rap. Eminem. I like Eminem too. Um,
You be just I
he's
be there and then you be like you just go over like
Is it the white people for you?
it's not necessarily the white people for me, but I just feel like some people are overrated.
Okay. And
I'm not
yeah,
saying that they're
okay.
not good. I just feel like they overrated.
I'm a dig deeper than for you. I'm a dig deeper. Amy
Hmm.
Winehouse, absolutely. Amy Winehouse is amazing to me. Um there is an artist, her name is Cleo Soul. Um
Okay.
she's just getting popular now, but I've been listening to her since 2020. And and she's probably my most listened to one of my most listened to artists of all time.
Okay.
She makes a very peaceful, like she almost reminds me of like Sade.
Okay.
Very peaceful, but it's always very like nurturing music. Um but things like that. I love A Marie. Um yeah, I'm trying to not get mainstream here, but A Marie, you know, I love
Hey
A
Marie,
Marie.
okay.
I'm a big fan of Go Go. I'm born and raised in Baltimore. You know, this is my home, but I grew up a lot in the PG area. So
Okay.
Go Go was something that stuck in my ear.
I mean, Baltimoreans listen to Go-Go more than they give it credit.
Right, yeah, definitely. But being you know, in like PG or like Beltsville or like Suitland or going down to DC, because my father's from DC. So when I was
Okay.
young, I used to be around all of that, and getting the ear for it. And that's another reason why I love old Beyonce too, because a lot of her her B Day stuff was produced by this guy named Rich Harrison, who is
The same guy from Anne Marie.
yeah, and I like that go-go sound he put in it. It just yeah, it does something for me. But
So you like the fact that she stole Anne Marie's
no,
thunder?
you know what? I don't even get into that. I don't even get into that. I just think that if anybody is to be looked at for that situation, it should be the producer. Um,
Okay.
and I think he's great. He's a the way he uses and I listen to some of his kind of deep cuts too. And he had this artist under his label called Richcraft named Young Steph, and
Hmm.
he has this whole tape that's unreleased. But the way
Right.
he combined that kind of that go-go kind of R&B kind of club sound with a male
Yeah.
voice to me, I enjoyed that a lot. And that's something I would definitely listen to as well. I listen to a lot of Summer Walker, even though people would expect me to listen to Summer Walker. And not just Summer Walker for her, but Summer Walker for like her features a lot. Her features are very she steps outside of her box. She's done electronic music. She's
Hmm.
done something that sounds like Amy Winehouse. She's done neo soul. Her whole her project she released was very inspired by Erykah Badu. That's another person I listen to, Erykah Badu. I don't know if you would call her overrated.
I wouldn't call her overrated. I think she's getting to a space where I believe you can be too creative,
Mm-hmm.
so you kind of lose touch with what you're doing it for. I think that's what happened to Lauryn Hill too. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can get so inside of yourself that like I go to her concerts every time she comes to the DMV, and I love the fact that she is living off of one studio album, one live album, and then the songs that she wrote from other people. I love it.
Right.
But I just like when you hear her remake songs, like you can get so I think musicians can get stuck like this, where you're
Right.
so inside of your own head
Mm-hmm.
that you're not creating anymore. And I don't know what she's personally doing, but she's definitely one of the people that I think. So if I call you overrated, it's sometimes it's for the purpose of like Eminem to me is overrated because he made claims talking about how he's gonna kill his girlfriend and his mother.
Oh.
Like some stuff like that is so crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
And we put that up there and put him above anybody who really deserves it.
Right.
Like people give him more clout than Tupac or
Mm-hmm.
LL Cool J or people who I like. But I like lyrics though. I'm a big like I my one of my favorite rappers. I loved when LL Cool J was doing like girl music, but
Mm-hmm.
I like Rakim. That's
Mm-hmm.
my favorite rapper because he didn't cuss. He didn't feel the need to like use
Mm-hmm.
profanity.
Yeah, I love lyricism. I love one of my favorite rappers that is out right now, and people may disagree that she's a rapper, but Doja Cat is she's rapping like this new album she released. It's going platinum in my household, and and
Not
I've
in
been
my household. It will be
it's
platinum.
it's crazy like her, and people are so blindsided by her, I guess, her aesthetic now, um
Hmm.
that if you actually, well, I can't say if people listen to the music because they are listening to Doja Cat as much as they talk about her. They're going to
Right.
listen to her, but her lyricism in these songs and the production and how everything comes together and the wordplay and everything is crazy. And she's actually like rapping, like it's like it's
Mm.
good, and it's different from what she's ever done before. Not to
I
say that
have to,
that's
I
that.
have to take some time because you make the time for the stuff that you want to do. I have to really take because I used to be on top of music, and
Hmm.
this last like maybe 10 years, I've kind of dozed off on music because it wasn't.
It wasn't giving you what it was supposed to be, what you were looking for.
No, I mean because I like music, and
Mm.
like a lot of the guys that are singing are just like
You
I
sing
like.
about the
I'm a
same thing.
I'm a born in the '80s,
Hmm.
but grew up on like the '90s singers.
Hmm.
So and I'm not saying all of them were clean, but it
Hmm.
was more melodic.
I think it was more
Now even the
sensual.
male singers are so raunchy and so like how do you make talking about your dick sexy? Like it's stuff like that.
Right, I get it, and
It's just
I
sex
get it,
music.
and I think it takes a very good artist to make, and that was a lot of artists in the '90s to make a song about sex not sound so much sexual but sensual, and
Because now it's people who are just decoding some of that music.
mhm.
Because a lot of it had melody in it and it has vibe in it and feeling and now it's just get naked. That's
Mhm.
it. That's just the claim to and then even the young ladies, the stuff that they're singing about is like, mm, baby, who
I think
raised you?
I think and who raised you? I think and that's to relate it back to me. That's how I tried to write some of my songs. So I have a song called
Hmm.
Open Up, and in parentheses it's heater. So open up heater. Um, and it might sound nasty off. off rip. You know, it might sound like, oh, open up, Jesus. But the song's lyrics go, I want to start from the verse is, invite me in, go ahead and ignite the flame. You know, it's all up to you. Cards laid out for you to play. You know, I want you to be comfortable with me. How did I
Okay,
forget?
consent.
Yes, consent is key. Consent matters. Um, I want you to be comfortable with me. Ooh. Want you to turn up the heat, baby. Like I'm the air that you breathe in, baby. I know I
Okay.
won't be feeling jaded. I'm gonna rev you up, so I'm giving you the space to open up.
Come on, consent. Come
Yeah.
on. You better sing a consent song.
like
But
stuff
I'm
like
saying
that.
even that, like, use words.
Mhm.
Just use. It's like the nastier the better now. But
Mhm.
use words. Like, use words. There are
Mhm.
more words than those. And maybe I'm from a different generation where, modesty was still, but you know, people are now decoding some of those R&B songs like from
Mhm.
SWV or Brownstone, like decode and realizing what they were saying.
Right.
They wasn't talking about anything different. It's just how they said it. And because still stuff still had to be played. So you have to figure out interesting ways. And I just know your generation up to maybe like 30 or so, y'all just raw, and it's just like it or don't like it. But at
That is
some
true.
point you're creating art, but people want to listen to it.
Right.
And I see a lot of those songs, they're imprinted in time, but how many of those songs are gonna follow us like the OJs, or you know, we're not supposed to say his name, but the R. Kellys, and
Mhm.
the Ron. How many of those songs are gonna follow us that way?
Mhm.
And that's what I mean. And R. Kelly sung about sex too, but it's just was done in a way. It was done in a certain way, and I want us just to keep some of the structure of what we've been and grow from that, but this some of the structure of it, like everything can't be so literal or vulgar or figurative, but I have to invest in some of the artists that are new. Even I keep saying his name because it was just interesting to me because like he doesn't look like what he sounds like. So
Mhm.
seeing him in person, and after not, I never really listened to a lot of his music, but just clips of his music. It was just interesting to see like a younger artist tapping into what has already been,
Mhm.
or a style that is much older than he is. It was just interesting hearing that. One of my favorite artists, Fantasia. I need her to those women that she loves. I
Mhm.
need whoever's writing her music, if it's her, I need you to listen to the music that you love, like listen to it
Right.
and not mimic it. But her her voice is so. I love when she sings Aretha Franklin songs or Patti
Mhm.
LaBelle because they're written, and she has some songs that I absolutely love. But those songs are written in the vein of the music that she loves. But
Mhm.
then she makes baby mama hips, and then you like, oh, okay, I'm done. I'm over it.
Ah, it's funny.
But it
I
really
can.
is. It gives you that vibe. I love vibe music. I remember it's not very many songs that I've heard now, and now you'll have to get a CD, but you can go to YouTube and listen to their playlist that you can listen to from beginning to end without skipping. It's been a minute since I had albums like that where I can listen to that I love.
Especially for R&B. I could say that
Yeah,
because as you were talking, I'm sitting here thinking about an album that could be. And the first album that came to my mind was Renaissance by Beyonce, but um,
but she has a magic that some of these young people, and she's not even considered consider a young artist anymore. That
No,
some of them have not
she's
tapped
yeah.
into. But
And
that's a
as far as
project.
a project, right? As far as, and that's the thing, and that ties back to what I was saying earlier. A lot of these people that are making music like that are
Hmm.
so tucked deep into under the layers of people that are making music, just you know, the music that you're talking about, like the music that you're not talking about,
Right.
that you can't even find them. Like you have to go search for them. So it it makes it harder, but I couldn't think of like one R&B album that is just extreme R&B, great R&B from front to back. Jasmine Sullivan, Hotels, Tales.
Yeah.
All right. Um,
Her voice was great.
that's it.
It's just,
Um,
and you know what? I get it because there are people, that I love. Millie Jackson was
mhm,
that person. Songs were so raunchy and performances were so out there. Those people exist throughout time. It's just like now everything sounds like that. Like I, stuff can't be so top heavy
mhm,
that that's all we're hearing. Like I don't mind a little raunch. Sometimes you in that mood, you want to hear a little raunch. But
mhm,
then if that's the like, I can't listen to the radio anymore. I
yeah.
this I can't listen to I can't listen because that's all you hear. And then the problem is some of the voices aren't even good. They're just fitting into a mold that is selling. So then
Right.
they get the airtime because then that's something they're shocking people. So that gets more attention than the quality or the tonality of their voice.
Right, right. And that's another reason why I feel like it's sometimes I get discouraged because it's like if this is what I'm not necessarily competing with, but this is what I'm competing with, then
Hmm. But you're
what?
not because there are performers who live off of the radar. And people they may not be at every award ceremony, but their music is probably on the charts somewhere. There's a do you know who Mesa is?
Mesa.
Mesa is a Baltimore artist. She went to Morgan State University. She's a
Uh-huh.
phenomenal like jazz, R&B, soul type of singer. And
Uh-huh.
her music is always on a chart. Now it
Mm,
may not be the R&B chart, it may be the urban music, something like that chart, but she charts. She has I think like 4 or 5 songs that she has put into consideration for a Grammy. She's an independent artist. She owns her own record label. She's from Baltimore. Like she still lives in the Baltimore, I think like county area, but she lives still here. But her songs and her music are so like it's her voice. It's like velvet.
mm-hmm.
But artists like that don't get any shine. But she is. Her role manager is my mentor, and like they are gone every weekend
I
to a
wish.
gig.
I
Like
wish.
she's performing, she's making money. I think when artists stop trying to define themselves by commercial status, by white commercial status, then I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot more of us will be achievers
That is a
in
great
terms
way.
of what we want it to look like.
Mm-hmm.
But I would look her up.
How do you
It
spell her name?
makes a Maysa.
Mesa. Okay.
Hmm. And I remember discovering her music a long time ago when I was really young and just hearing it and just being able to hear her sing. She does like a Sunday karaoke every Sunday from
Mm-hmm.
her kitchen. And it's just before people started doing it during the pandemic, she was doing it. But
Mm-hmm.
just to know that there's space for people who aren't considered commercial success.
Right.
So it is it's possible. It is, you know, create for the sake of creating.
Right.
You know, take a note from Beyonce or, Michael Jackson or Whitney Houston's careers in terms of their albums. Like it was an experience. Like you listen to the music from beginning to end. There was thought put into the energy that they
Hmm.
want people to receive from it. And I just thought people just putting out singles now. I'm gonna just put these. I'm gonna single you to death, and then I'm gonna package that into an
Yeah.
album and sell it to you again, and it's never nothing gonna sound like it goes together.
Yeah, definitely. Sequencing is not a thing.
Yeah,
Is it album sequencing or what's the I forget the is what's the term where you I'm not gonna remember it, but I
like the
think it might
order of the music, you mean?
the order of the music, yeah.
Okay.
Um
Hmm.
they just put it, and even so much so I having a conversation because now I forgot to mention I'm now a member of the recording academy for the college chapter now. So
Okay. Okay. For
yeah,
the
yeah, and
Grammys or
the Grammys, yeah.
ASCAP? Okay.
Yep, and so I was talking to my um she is a member of the board as well, and she was telling me, yes, what artists do nowadays is they will put, if they have an intro or they don't, if they have an intro, it'll be the second song, but usually the first song is a song that they want people to get the most views on and the most
Hmm.
listens, and it'll just trickle down from there. The second is the second
Mm.
most, and it has no direction. You know what I'm saying? It has no
Okay.
direction. It has
It's what they
no
think will get
no
them the
movement.
most attention.
Right, right. And then the last song is just I guess the deep cut, the B side.
But just, I mean, go, and that's why I say dig deeper because I'm remembering, even though she's not like a vocalist to me, like the Janet Jackson or Mariah's or Whitney's, or where they had multiple singles come from one album.
Right, right. I was just talking about that. Right, there's like you could and you. I could talk about this all day. I promise. Like the way the way an album today. Well, you hear my mom come in now. That's you know you remember my mom. That's her right here. Um, she gonna come in here. But
Tell her come say hi.
hey ma, I'm on an interview. Say hey. All right, she said hey. She gonna come up. She gonna come up here. Um, but
Tell her she can come on with her rollers in. She can come on.
but the length of an album or the I guess the the time
Hmm.
that an album can last, there's a word for it, I can't think of it. It's so much shorter these days than past years.
Right.
An R&B album this year could last you maybe for 8 months, 9 months, maybe a year. A
Probably
year is
less than
pushing
that.
it. A year is pushing it.
Yeah.
Album back in the day could last you for 3, 4, 5 years because
Yeah.
they had taken every single song. Every single song had a potential one.
Yeah.
Every single song had the potential to stand on its own,
Right.
and every single song could be. We gave you the album in. We released the album, and then we gave you the album in pieces. This is this song from the album. This is this song from the album. This is this song from the album.
Hmm.
But now you just drop the album and just drop it. You literally
Well, I
drop it.
mean, the thought is, and this is what happens when you let marketing determine your art, and
Yes.
it should be the other way around. Your art should determine your marketing, but
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
letting marketing
Yes, it is.
and someone's numbers determine what your art is, and it just
Mhm.
it's crazy to me because now the albums are shorter and it's just singles being put out because they feel like people don't have the attention span. Well,
Right.
you have to
Exactly.
create, you have to train your audiences sometimes. It sounds
Hmm.
crazy, but if you put out a decent project, the people who are really about music are one going to buy it and they're going to listen to it and they're going to push it. But it is interesting to me, like rappers do this. They structure their marketing towards people who go steal their music, not to people
Mm,
who go buy it. They structure their music for people who are going to steal their music, who's not going to buy tickets to their concert, who are just the image of who they want to be perceived as, versus really creating music that speaks to the population of people who are going to listen to it, who
right.
who's going to hear your music. This let your artistry speak to what your marketing is, and don't let marketing determine what music you put out.
Mhm.
Like
And
that's always been a crazy concept to me.
unfortunately, like it definitely should be like that. But unfortunately, I don't know. Like it that's the standard now. The marketability
Yeah.
influences and makes the the artistry. Now it's about, can we get a quick hit out of this artist right here? Can we get a quick hit out of this singer,
And
out of this
artists
rapper?
have to start putting their foot down and saying no.
Right.
You have to just say no. Like, look at one of my another favorite artists, Sade. She only come out every 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to the concert, I think this last one was a little bit different because she did some collaborations, which she don't
Right.
typically do. But when she comes out, when she comes to a concert, she gonna give you the same screen with these beautiful moving images. She gonna give you
Mm-hmm.
the same oriental rug. She not gonna wear no shoes. She gonna give you the same nice little one costume, and that's it. And you go buy your tickets, you go have a good time, and you go go home singing her music. And then she gonna go away for another 10 years and come back when she feel like it. Like, but you have to try, and she has an audience for that.
Right. It works for her.
I don't care how bad you talk about Lauryn Hill being on time,
Mm-hmm.
you still gonna go buy the tickets to go see her.
Mm-hmm.
Sing that one album, one studio album, and that one live album she did. That's all you still will go see it. You're gonna talk about her on your way there. You're gonna wait for her while she's late, and you're gonna enjoy the concert for the little bit of time that she got left. But that's how it is.
It is, and it works. It works for specific people. I
Hmm.
guess, like you said, you train your audience. You train your audience, and that's what they expect from you.
But
I
this is
mean,
the time that you do it though.
right.
This is the time as you're growing, as you're maturing. This is the time that you do it when you're doing shows.
Hmm.
The fact that you're punctual, the fact that you give them a full thought out experience. I used to do like the stage order for people. Like I had a couple artists that I worked with before where I did their stage performance order.
Hmm.
And the last person I worked with and why I stopped doing it, I did all that work. We rehearsed it the day of. She had changed everything. And it was so all over the place. But she was like, "But this is my favorite song, and this the song that's gonna get everybody up." But you're not. What story are you telling? What picture are you painting? What are you giving to the people who paid their money to come see you? And people were booing her and what because it just was all over the place,
It
and she
was
was
booing
not
her.
prepared for it. They booed her. They booed her off the stage, and she had pretty
All.
good music, but her it like you have dancers, so one song should go into the other, where it
Hmm.
be something up tempo or something, and then you save your big song for the end, or it nothing had a rhyme or it was like a big song here, and then it'll get quiet, and then she'll go back to a big song, and then
Oh no,
something
you
they
can't
never
do that.
heard before, and she was trying to please people too much versus do the work that they came to come. Like they know your music, that's why they're here. So do
Right.
that, but we worry too much about what the public's gonna think, or
Mhm.
people who aren't buying your music, what they're gonna think. So I think artists like you who really have a focus on your work, you'll do well. You'll be great. But just focus on, not so focused that you're in a bubble, but
Right.
creating work and just not being afraid of being wrong, not being afraid to be perfect, and
Hmm.
just creating. Still keep your quality control, but just
Mm.
creating in that process. Are there any projects that you have coming up?
No, I don't have any projects coming up per se that there's a possibility, I'll say. And what I mean by that is I'm there's nothing formulated right now. And like I haven't written a song in a long time, and I just got back on that maybe like 2 nights ago. Actually, it was very recently, maybe 2 nights ago, and I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm feeling this. And it was a situation that just happened, and I guess experiences bring things that you should be doing to the front of your face.
Hmm.
Um, because it was an experience that I had just went through it back in September, with one of my friends that I was like, I can put this in a song. And I started same thing I did with my most popular song. Just got that I got that same note. Still have the paragraphs that I did for the first song. Just did a
Hmm.
couple of lines and then just started right there. Started typing away. And
Hmm.
I kinda came up with something. Um kind of. So and and from that, um that could happen again and again and again, and it could get me back in the space to start writing again, or the space to start recording again. So um
Maybe you got to
it's
do something else.
what do you
Maybe
mean?
pick up some drumsticks or go
Somebody just
be
said
in a
that to me the other
play.
day. So I
Hmm.
was thinking that. I was like, because somebody was talking to me about it, and I'm like, I'm feeling discouraged about all this stuff. I just feel like I'm one little fish in the Atlantic Ocean. And
But
and
you're
she
on
was
a college
teaching me.
campus, like create, like do dumb stuff, or you
That's
know,
hard.
I'm not gonna say too much because your mother might hear, but just do something dumb
She
and
definitely right here,
experience,
but
be experience life a little bit because you
yeah.
living like you 30 some years old and
Oh
you
my
in the
god,
midst of a career, but just live a little bit and just
I
experience
didn't even.
life, but just be in a moment of it. Don't live
Mhm.
to create, but just
Yeah,
live.
and that's a problem I
And
have. That's a problem I have. I live based off of the basis of I will never. If I used to, I might still do it. I'm getting better with it though. I'm getting better at being a little spontaneous with things, but um,
and you
I
can't
was
plan spontaneity, sir. You can't plan it.
exactly, and I'm getting better with like if I wanna do something like because I lately I've been thinking like I want to find another way to utilize my voice because I just want to find another way to utilize my voice. And then somebody was like, "Why
Hmm.
don't you go pursue musical theater or something like that?" And I'm like, "I did musical theater for maybe about 9 years, um,
Hmm.
and that's something I'm actually very good at, or I'll say I was good at. I haven't done it in probably a little dusty, but you know, that's something I would entertain, and people would make these suggestions to me, but then I'd be like, I can't do that. I gotta focus on my music. So everything that wasn't music, even when it came down to relationships with people, like I can't pursue this person. I can't start pouring into this relationship even more. That's gonna take away from my
Hmm.
music. That was my
But if you're
priority so
writing
much.
from an empty cup, how good is it really
Exactly.
going to be?
Exactly. And that's when I realized like I should start maybe having a life because I mean I have a life. I do. I'm not even gonna say I don't have a life, but um I don't do the things that a normal 20-year-old does. Um
But you're not a normal 20-year-old, so
no,
stop
I'm
thinking
not.
like that.
No, I'm not. I'm not out here. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I don't
Okay.
most people
And
are
that's not
working.
what I meant by crazy. That's
Oh no,
just
I
so you
know. I
never know.
know.
That's not what I meant by crazy.
I know, but I don't a lot of people are a lot of people are and that are my age are either oh no they are like working on the tools to start their career or working on
Mhm.
the things that they need to do so they can be eligible to start their career.
Right,
For me per se, I'm already in a space where I am starting my career, so it
right.
makes it hard and it makes me have to like kind of bring myself up and mature myself up a little bit to catch up, or at least I
But
feel like I
burnout is real.
and burnout is
Burnout is
real.
real, and part of it is just like a relationship. Sometimes you gotta take a break to
Mhm.
miss it,
Right. Right.
and you doing it for as long as you've been doing it and focusing as hard as you've been focusing on it. Sometimes you gotta reignite the passion for it, and sometimes the
Mhm.
passion can sometimes die. Even if you really love something, it could just fizzle
Yeah.
away, and you. It's often for artists. My suggestion to some of my student artists is find something else in the arts to do that
Mm.
can give you that same voice and ignite that same passion. And you might realize you really love acting or really love painting or playing an instrument or
Mhm.
what have you, or but stay in art, but
Right.
find something as like a hobby or a
Mhm.
love and just create, and it's going to take you back to music. If you do theater, eventually it's going to take you back to music.
Mhm.
Even if you do visual art or photography or something, it's going to always take you back to what you really love. You're going to find a way where you combining art forms or you're collaborating with other artists. Find that space. So not everybody's going to have your work ethic, and that's going to be the thing that you need to look for. People who really practice and really do what they say they want to be, and not just
Mhm.
I'm a singer and I'm gonna sing sometime,
Right.
but really find your tribe. And that's what
Mhm.
college is for. That's why, I'm really against people saying, college ain't for everybody. It's, go out there, get yourself a trade. No, college has a certain space, even for people who don't finish or it's not for them. To try it, you meet so many people that can help your career or help shape your career or guide your career. You never know who knows who or something like that, but just live in that space of being in a college. Like really,
Mhm.
you almost finished. So don't
Mhm.
miss out on, some opportunities to really have jam sessions with people or, try some theater out, and you'll be surprised at because you might get discovered for being in a play versus being behind a microphone on another
Mhm.
type of stage or something, or
Right.
an album on TikTok. But
Mhm.
show your journey. We live in a world where you have to show your journey now,
Mhm.
because that's how you build your audience. That's
And
how
that's hard
you,
for me. That's very hard
market,
for me.
engage. Right,
That's
right.
killing me too. Definitely.
What the social media part of it?
Just the content making is killing me because I be so focused on what I'm doing that I'm not thinking to go and get footage and go get content. Um
Mm.
I'm just thinking like do
But
it.
you are the
And
content. See,
well,
content creators are
uh
people who are not talented, who have to think of these
yeah.
ideas.
Mhm.
You are already the content. Just show people who you are. That's it. Like, and you can still keep your, own entities to yourself, but
Mhm.
show people who you are, and that is your content. I
Right.
used to always think like, how am I gonna, when I was thinking about doing this on my own, how am I gonna create? How am I gonna make stuff look like the other podcasts? And I
Mhm.
am in a space of showing people who I am. Like
Right.
it, love it, or leave it alone.
Amen.
But just
Yeah.
just show people who you are. Don't try to think of any concept that's going to be unique, because nothing's unique under the sun at this point
Mhm.
other than you. Like, you are the uniqueness that you are, and just create from that. If you want to get online one day and just sing, or talk about your day, or talk about your favorite album, or give reviews, or whatever that may be,
Mhm.
it has to be authentic to who you are and not some idea. Most of the people you see on them TikToks, they have no talent. I've met quite a few of them. I've interviewed many of them. They have no conversational skills. They have
Mhm.
no ability to actually entertain people beyond 30 seconds.
Oops.
So just know that you are your, and some of them have talents, but they're trying to do what made someone else popular. And they
Right.
just look like clowns up there.
Mhm.
But um, any shows that you are thinking of doing, or any collaborations, or anybody you want to work with?
So I have been doing a couple of shows actually. This recent summer I did maybe about 4 shows um
Hmm.
with this company called So Far Sounds. And it's a very intimate venue, acoustic. And it was something different for me because I'm not used to doing acoustic sets. I'm a performer. Like I'm in
That's
your
a
face.
big so far. That's a venue.
It's a production company. So they have events in venues across the world. They've had performers such as
Oh, I think I
uh,
just saw one of them at the UB Blake Center. I was
they
at the
probably
UB
were.
Blake, yeah.
Yep.
So I saw them. I think they come there once a month, but they travel around also
Yep.
into
And
different
they
states.
and
Okay,
but they also like they don't. Well, this company doesn't travel. They have them in every city like going on at the same time.
okay,
So you have so far Baltimore, so far DC.
yeah. But
Um,
the artists, the singers
yeah.
themselves or musicians, they travel to the different locations.
You can,
So the
yeah.
one here is at the UB Blake Center.
It's no, it's in multiple places.
Okay.
They never reveal the address until 36 hours before. Um,
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
supposed to be some type of secret thing.
Yeah.
And
It was some
yeah, no,
phenomenal singers. My one of my favorite singers here, Black Ass Black Assets, was one
hmm
of the performers. And then I met another young lady. I think she was from like New York or New Jersey or something, and she was
yeah.
performing. Hmm.
I got some opportunities to perform there. Um, and
Okay,
it's
cool.
different trying to do it, I guess, an acoustic type type of setting. It was very intimate, but I had
Okay.
it was me, my two background singers, and I had arranged the tracks myself. I had 5 songs I did, and I arranged the tracks on myself,
Hmm.
and arranged all the background harmonies myself. And yeah, and I just started performing with them, and it's been very well. I'm a performer at heart. As much as I'm a musician, I'm a performer
Hmm.
too. Ever since I was a baby, I was given these people shows, and and so it took a time when I wasn't doing much performing, especially because the pandemic was
Hmm.
happening, and it really felt good to get on stage and perform again. Now the next time I get on stage, I got I got a band, I got lights, I got my voice.
Okay.
Yeah,
So is
that's
that
that's
what
that.
you are planning for? Are you thinking about what that would look like?
Um, I haven't really executed it that much so far.
Hmm.
Um, I feel that once I have my next piece of music out, whatever that shall be, then that's when I'll start entertaining the thought of that. And when you were saying earlier, it just made me think of that. When you were saying earlier, it takes you like stepping away to realize that you miss it and you love
Hmm.
it. That is definitely true with making music. Like it took me stepping away because I've been promoting since um May 5th. Yeah, I've been promoting since May 5th. Just straight
Okay.
promotion, straight branding management, promotion, marketing, all of those things. And
Hmm.
now I feel that I'm coming to a stop with it. And that's probably due to my one wanting to make music again, and two probably just promoting, just going so hard on the promotion can really make you lose the love of making the music if you do
Hmm.
it for too long. So now it's time. I feel it. I feel it in my bones. I know it's time for me to not so much turn away from promoting music, but turn and see me making music again, and turn
Hmm.
and see this is what I need to start prioritizing again.
Okay.
Because I miss it, and I miss being in the studio. Um, I miss mm, I miss it's a lot. I miss being in the studio. I miss layering my harmonies. That's number one. Um, I miss layering those harmonies. I miss being in the
Hmm.
studio. I miss, having somebody in the studio with me, and I'm like, does this sound good? Or do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. In in the moment, it might be frustrating, but in hindsight, it's like I'll do it again. and again and again and again because I enjoy it.
I mean, just do it. Do
Hmm.
it until you know this. Even when you feel like, and I know I just said sometimes you have to step away from it, but stay in it. Even if it's just thoughts, even if it's you know random things you may hear as you
Hmm.
are in your travels, conversations that turn into words. If you just jotting down things, keep some connection to it.
Right,
Even when those moments where you have to separate yourself from the entire thing, keep something connected to it where
right,
the
yeah,
music doesn't just fade or it
right.
doesn't, because if you don't use it, you're going to lose it.
Lose it, right.
You know, you can't
Hmm.
get a talent and expect for it to just sit there and collect dust
Right.
because it'll be revoked, snatched back.
Snatched,
Um,
yeah.
but as we close out, what are some goals that you're setting right now?
Goals that I'm setting. Number one is definitely make be more. Wow, she's loud. Um, make more versatile. Make use of my versatility. Um,
Okay,
make use of my versatility. And I've been doing okay with that. I've been doing good with that, I'll say, and it yielded results. It has yielded results. Number two would definitely be to dip into other parts of my music making process, not just for me, but for other people. I have been
ooh,
vocal producing a project of a friend of mine's. So, and I
okay,
enjoy that. Vocal producing a project or writing for somebody else or overseeing somebody else's project or stacking harmonies and or doing background for somebody. That's a goal of mine too. And
ooh,
number three would definitely be just to keep growing in no matter what that means, but or how that looks, but to keep growing and to hopefully just keep going up. We have our
right.
down. I just want to keep going up. Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing that you have that focus. I don't know what my focus was when I was 20. I just know, I just think I felt the need to just go, 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 and then 30 happened and I was sleepy. And I I don't think I lost my overall sleepy yet. But now I'm 40 and it's a different space because
Mhm,
now you know a little bit more, a lot more, and
mhm,
it's now applying that life lesson to the application of your goals and your dreams. And you
mhm,
have a different patience, but you seem to be ahead of yourself in that space. But
mhm.
don't forget to be in the moment of where you are. No matter
Right.
how far maturity takes you, stay grounded in your moment so your creativity stays rich. Sometimes I have to go back into that daydreaming person I used to be when I was a teenager and younger to tap into some creativity. And it comes just like that. The moment I'm really in it and I allow myself to live in it, that
Mhm.
creativity, and then I can go over to my work table and bust out some jewelry pieces or
Right.
think of an event or but even if it's just creating something, my
Mhm.
pastime is creating flyers. Now I go to my little Canva account
I
and
love
I just
Canva.
create, even if it's not an event that I'm doing or I thought about doing or I got the money to do. I'll
Mhm,
create a flyer for it, and to me it becomes like my dream board, because whenever I
mhm.
open up Canva I got to see all of those flyers that I made. And
Right.
sometimes things come and they
Mhm,
come to you and you have to be real about it and honest in
mhm,
in how you pursue it. But it
mhm,
definitely it will it will get you. It'll
mhm.
get you. So I'm always very proud of it, and I follow you, and I can't wait to see you actually
Thank you.
perform. I still
Thank you.
haven't seen you perform, and you're always welcome here. And even if you need a platform to be able to, you know, start building that audience and creating
Mhm,
it, in a non-musical way, hit me
Right.
up. And the platform is building and growing. So um, it's yours. So I'm gonna ask you the last question, and that question is, what advice would you give to your 17-year-old self now that you are a couple years farther from it now? And
Mhm.
what question would you ask to your 100-year-old self?
Oh my God, I remember you asked me this the last
Hmm.
time we were here. I feel like I'm gonna say the same thing. Um, um, hmm, 17. I can't remember. What was I doing?
Oh, he's
Mom, what was
20
I doing
now.
when
He
I was
can't he
17?
can't remember 17.
What was I doing when I was 17? You was in high school. All right. Um, 12th grade at Baltimore School. 12. I was in high school. It was in Corona. That was the pandemic. Um,
Oh wow. Oh, you're making me feel so old.
um.
Wow.
So,
So what advice would you give to that 17-year-old self?
um, keep. I would tell him to keep.
Don't overthink it.
I'm overthinking it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm overthinking it real bad. I would tell him to keep moving forward, and I would tell him to never limit yourself to one thing. And but once you find that thing that you love,
Mm-hmm.
grind in it, and don't wait. Start then and there to start grinding on it, and
Mm-hmm.
start then and there and learn, and you're gonna make mistakes, but keep working, keep working, keep working.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a hard believer. I'm a believer in hard work, and
Okay.
hard work, maybe with a little sprinkle of luck and being in the right place at the right time, yields success and results. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I would tell 17-year-old me to find what you're passionate in, which is was still the same than it is now, and keep going into it. Now, what I tell my 100-year-old self, a question that I would ask, I would ask my 100-year-old self, I would ask my 100. I'm overthinking it again. I am. I would ask my 100-year-old self, was everything that you did worth doing? Did you waste your
Mm,
time, or did you? Because if I wasted my time, no, I can't say that because then I would learn some of the things that I would have learned if I went back and changed it. But
yeah.
I would
Now,
ask.
now I'm gonna tell you these two questions I asked. They're very psychological,
Mm-hmm.
and you are right now answering the questions as they should be answered because you're being honest, but you're also showing what your struggle is right now.
Oh, please tell me. Please tell
Just,
me.
just that ability to be loud and wrong. I can be loud and wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not a permanent destination
Mm-hmm.
because I don't even know if I'm gonna be wrong, but I'm willing to jump out there. Imagine being able to meet your 100-year-old self, and the question you had for them was it all worth it? That says a lot about where you are right now. Because
Very true.
imagine what that 100-year-old self is going to say to you.
If he say no, then I'm gonna be like, well, that
Well, it's
sucks.
not even going to be, but see, that's a fear.
Mm-hmm.
That
Right.
means that's a fear for you.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't even lived that long.
Right.
So I always ask that question and the advice question because it tells you where you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Are you satisfied with your choices? Are you satisfied with how you're living? Are you satisfied with your surroundings?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't sound like you are,
Mm-hmm.
but it's
That yeah.
okay because you have that space to now change things,
Right.
grow, mature, make different decisions.
Mhm.
You don't have to say, okay, I made this decision. I gotta stay stuck in it. I gotta, you know, I, and I'm gonna tell you that created a cycle for me because I would stay too long at the party.
Right.
I didn't know how to get up and leave when I wasn't satisfied. Now, oh, this doesn't work for me. I don't care if opening day is tomorrow. I'm
Mhm.
not doing this. And there's still parts of me that's like, oh, I gotta finish this. I gotta, my reputation. I gotta, but at the same time, I give myself grace because other times I'm going to can't do it. Just walked
Can't
off
do
a
it.
project. Just
Mhm.
walked off. This walked off a project, and it's okay. It's
Mhm.
okay if you made a wrong decision. Now, what you gonna do? Yes, think about the people around you, how it's gonna
Mhm.
affect them. But most
Right.
importantly, how is it affecting you?
Right.
If it's killing you, let it go. Like, just let it go. It's not, what's the harm? And it's best to do it as a performer. It's best to give a no up front than a no at the end.
Very
Because
true.
now you're dealing with integrity. You
Mhm.
knew this whole time you didn't want to do this, but you kept on doing it because you were a people pleaser.
Mhm.
Get that out your system now because no matter how much you give, it never will be enough for people.
Right. Very true.
And if they see you're willing to pour out all you have, guess what? They're going to ask you for more. And then when you have nothing, when you're just fumes, they can walk away from you
Right.
without even hesitation or oops, they gone. But you're still sticking around waiting for them to come back or trying to hold on to them. But I think you have a great support system. I think you have a great head on your shoulders. But just know now it's on you.
Very true.
It's on you. Mommy not buying, you know, the underwear no more. It's on you. She
No,
not,
not
making breakfast as she used to.
right.
It's on you. You have to
Mhm.
start making decisions that equal up and don't live in tomorrow. You can't put everything on tomorrow. Be in today and prepare for
Right.
tomorrow, but just put your energy into the right now.
Right.
That's
That
that's
makes
as much
perfect
as
sense.
I've been through and I can understand.
Mhm.
But don't take that question with you. 100-year-old self, 17-year-old self. And those are just two spaces of time because most of us dream of being 100 years old. But what would that be like? And
Right.
all of us remember running away from, we couldn't wait to be 18, 19, 20, 21. We couldn't wait to do that. But now, you are in a space right now where you can actually guide those things. You are
Right.
junior at 20. Like that's a magical thing for you right now.
Mhm.
Like live in that. It's not too many people who have chosen your path, so it's yours.
Mhm.
Nobody is going to understand your vision because it wasn't theirs. It's yours.
Mhm.
Some people are going to choose not to hear it. Some people are going to purposely not hear it. Some people are just, they don't get it, but it's not theirs. It's your vision. You get to create the full walls, the roof, the ceiling, the door. You get to decorate your dreams and your goals how you see fit.
Mhm.
And just know a lot of those friends are not going to go with you.
Mhm. Mm. Mm.
So some hard decisions are definitely based on how I heard you say that. There's some hard decisions ahead of you.
Mhm.
So be ready.
I'm
Be
trying.
ready.
I'm
'Cause they
trying.
coming.
Wait, I'm
But
getting
where can
my
people
my
find you
mind
at
ready.
on social media?
Oh,
Um, all that jazz. Where can we get your
I'm
music?
on all platforms, all social media platforms. I am the Marcellin,
Mhm.
TheMarcellin. That's long, but It's just the Marcellin. And on music platforms, streaming platforms, I am Marcellin as well.
Okay.
That's where you can find me. I'm about to get my mom in here because I know she wants to say hey, but she said because she's sitting here at the
What's
door.
her 2 cents? What's her 2 cents?
Ma, come say hi. Come say hello. Give me
Well, it's
a
been a
minute.
great show. So I'm waiting for the next show. So I need an invite.
Absolutely, yeah. When I have the next show, I'm gonna send you an invite. Here she is, right here.
Oh
Hey,
my God.
how you
Hey,
doing?
Nate. How are
How are
you?
you?
I heard
I'm
your
good.
voice
How
from
you been?
downstairs. I said, is
Say it
that
again.
Nate?
Yeah.
I said, I heard your voice from downstairs. I said, is that Nate?
Yes,
How's
yes, yes.
everything?
This being an adult, ready to go back. I'm ready to go back home. That's what
Me,
I'm about
what?
to do.
Me
I'm ready
too.
to. I'll
I
take
wish I was
allowance.
20.
Yeah, I told him he'll get it soon. It'll come at some point.
Yeah. Nice seeing you.
You too. You too.
Uh, all right.
But this has been a great show. I don't want so much time to pass the next time, but come on
Yeah.
back and when that first project is out, come on back and talk before that. I want you to do
Hmm.
something before that. Challenge yourself.
Absolutely.
Let's see what you got.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I always love it here. I didn't realize it's been 2.5 hours. I thought it was like uh,
It happens like
50
that
minutes.
sometimes. It definitely
Yes.
happens like that.
Hmm. Thank you for
But
having me here. I really appreciate it.
anytime, but follow him on social media. If you go to the comment section, you'll see his IG page, his information in the description. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Artist Exchange Media Hub and follow this gentleman. Get his information
Please. Thank
and
you.
follow him. So I appreciate you, sir. Good
Thank
night,
you.
good night, good night, good night. And don't forget, everybody, come on out the 14th this Saturday at Shake and Bake for the Black Skate Day Party. It's going to be fun. We're going to give out some honors. We got some gift bags. There's going to be some great vendors there, some great people to come network with. Come skate, come dance with DJ Neil, my uncle, with host Blue Waters. And we got a number of people that we're honoring. So stay tight. We got some more information coming up. And we may have another show next week. You never know. We never know. But peace out, everybody. Good night. Good night. Good night. Let me put this up here.
Yeah. It's you.